Saw the emergence of strong centralized states in Western Europe, of which the Habsburgs of Spain were the strongest. Eastern Europe, Russia was getting stronger and was constantly fighting over Lithuania, Sweden, the Turks for supremacy. According to the state ideology of Russia, the Tsar was the monarch, unlimited power, and who personally owned the land and the people of Russia. The most prominent high nobility, the boyars, from the boyar Tsar even terrible, significantly limited their power. There was also a wider parliament called the Assembly of the Land, Zemsky Sabor, whose role was very limited. After the contradictory reign of Ivan the Terrible, and during the time of troubles, Poland and Sweden nearly succeeded in occupying Russia, with the new Romanov dying in late 1630.
His reign was a truly bloody period in Russian history. Everyone who got on his bad side died after terrible tortures. In 1581, manic rage, he killed his son. He beat his wife until she lost their unborn child. Impalements, rapes, massacres in general were part of agenda. One of Ivan's most notorious massacres took place in Novgorod. Ivan was afraid of a conspiracy of nobles there, so he sent in the oprichniki. In 6 weeks, some 60,000 inhabitants of the city were killed. The Tsar's men had no mercy. They plucked out eyes, burned people alive, drowned them in the river. It says that a pigeon on the bridge turned to stone after witnessing the horrors of the massacre. A monument to that scene still stands. In his private life, Ivan was thirsty for women.
Revealed a grave, skulls, bones, full skeletons, but something was missing.
In 1991, 9 sets of remains were found. There were 11 people that were killed in Ekaterinburg that night. 2 sets of remains were still
Perhaps the bones found in the forest aren't from people killed in the basement that night after all. A gunshot aimed at the heart, deflected by jewels sewn beneath the bones. The accounts that bullets were discharged, the burial of Anastasia and Alexei have survived the initial gunfire. For almost a century, these accounts have been the basis for many spurious claims to Russia.
Burada Romanov.
Of Kazan became Ivan's vessel, gathering of Russian lands. Evil Novgorod was an enormous wealthy state connected with the Western European trade work through the Hanseatic. In 1478, Ivan the Great set to overrun Novgorod. He destroyed the Vetch, killed a large number of its inhabitants, deported families, and tied it to Moscow. In 1497, Ivan imposed a code of laws called the Subdivny that tied peasants more to their land. It has been interpreted as one of the first steps in the process of turning Russian peasants into serfs 100 years later. The Third Rome. In 1453, the Byzantine Empire fell to the Muslim Turks. Ivan the Great married Sophia Palaiologina, the niece of the last Byzantine emperor, Constantine XI. She brought Byzantine cultural influences to Ivan's court. Ivan the Great's court looked towards the Byzantine splendor and saw themselves
In the basement that night after all. A gunshot aimed at the heart, deflected by jewels sewn beneath the bones. The accounts that bullets ricocheted, that Maria or Anastasia and Alexei perhaps survived the initial gunfire, are becoming plausible. For almost a century, these accounts have been the basis for many spurious claims to the Russian throne. Anna Anderson's claim was the most famous. She went to her grave claiming to be the last Grand Duchess Anastasia. She convinced many people, including the family of Peter Sarandanaki, whose ancestors were part of the Tsar's inner circle.
My mother-in-law, to her dying days, to her last day, believed that
Troops might catch red-handed. The plan was quickly installed as the bodies were being loaded on.
As they were lifting up one body that was Nastasia, the two of the Grand Duchesses left that room alone. Cough grabbed a nearby rifle and ended up smashing them repeatedly in the face until they stopped screaming.
Entrance a dozen miles outside Yekaterinburg, the Kyakin forest, to an area of battles.
So here's what we know. The bodies were taken into the forest.
Nineteenth century, a group of communists in Russia, known as Bolsheviks, started a revolution. The end result was a communist takeover of Russia and the creation of a nation known as the Soviet Union. For many years, the Soviet Union was the only communist nation. However, following World War II, many other Eastern European nations followed Russia's lead and implemented a communist system. Those nations included Poland, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, Hungary, and Romania. Throughout the 1060s, many Asian nations, such as China, North Korea, also adopted communism. At one point,
So many nights to find the perfect one. Can't see it, it's not till I see it. Don't want me to breathe any from words. Show me up, I don't wanna hit different zones. So many nights to find the perfect one. Can't see it, it's not till I see it. Don't want me to breathe any from words. Can't see it, I don't wanna hit different zones. So many. Sit at the bar, feel myself lonely. I wanna call you, drinking this wine. I don't care about the how can I get my home. Do you wanna take me home? 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 Empty stairs, these animal faces thinking about the sex. I don't even matter, text to my ex. Honey, just take me home. Do you wanna take me home? Do you wanna take me home? Do you wanna take me home? Can't see it, it's not till I see it. Don't want me to breathe any words. Show me how I wanna hit different zones. So many nights to find the perfect one. Can't see it, it's not till I see it. Don't want me to breathe any words. Can't see it, I wanna hit different zones. So many nights to find the perfect one. Can't see it, it's not till I see it. Don't want me to breathe any words. Show me how I wanna hit different zones. So many nights to find the perfect one. Can't see it, it's not till I see it. Don't want me to breathe any words. Can't see it, I wanna hit different zones.
Eastern Europe and Asia. But what is communism? How did it get started? The modern idea of communism was first proposed by German philosophers Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Together, they wrote a short book known as the Communist Manifesto. In it, they suggested that someday the working class, known as the proletariat, would rise up and overthrow the wealthy employer. At that point, the proletariat completely destroyed society. One of the key principles of communism is the concept of a classless society. This led to a concerted effort by communist governments to eliminate anything
has an opportunity to finish out what he started earlier that day. As the crowd tries to subdue Princip, the Archduke and his wife are left bleeding in the car. One bullet struck the Archduke in the neck, the other his wife in the stomach. Both die within the hour. In response to the assassination of the heir to a crown, Austria-Hungary seeks support from Germany. Germany agrees and Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. Russia, Serbia's ally, mobilizes its forces, and as a result, Germany declares war on Russia. Russia's ally, France, then mobilizes its forces.
The ministers of the crown, and in particular
might be the news that was feared to be of abdication. And at 3:45, the Prime Minister delivered this message from His Majesty to be read by the Speaker to the House of Commons.
After long and anxious consideration, I have determined to renounce the throne, to which I succeeded on the death of my father. And I am now communicating this, my final and irrevocable decision.
King Edward returned a king no longer, but through a tradition built up by many years in the past, the throne of Britain lives. For we know that the monarchy is the golden link of our empire, the crown our symbol of liberty. So we listen to the parting words of Edward, the son of King George and Queen Mary.
This is Windsor Castle. His Royal Highness Prince Edward. Please for consideration.
king. I wish him and you, his people, happiness and prosperity with all my heart. God bless you all. God save the king.
This is what Ashley's for you do. Yes. Tonight we're going to head over.
fables.
Dutchman. I believe in a drop of whiskey warm, and it sort of kills the germs.
I think so, darling. There's an apple side there.
What's your recipe?
A jolly good hot round punch and a jolly good sweat stuff in bed till it's all over. Right?
Well, my mother recommends an old sweaty stock with salt right round your throat, good pull over, and a good hot water bottle, and sweat it out, and then if you feel that you're not going to spread germs around, then get up.
Well, I think it's quite a simple ailment to deal with. I take a jolly good dose of salt and let nature do the rest.
And the best way that we find, and the only way, is the use of elderflower wine. You take a good glassful tonight, and you go to bed and you sweat it out, you know, and you're all right in the day too. Well, there is a good cure in mustard and lard, and you rub the two well together and get a good blend in, and then after it's really, I don't know how to do it myself.
But does he eat it, or does he rub it into his chest?
No, rub it on your chest, in front and back.
How about you? Have you got a good cure?
Good spring, you can rub that on the chest, you have to be cooking food, and then keep the grease, rub it on the chest. Watch it, rub it there, and cut it, go on the chest. And you warm it there. And just the warmth, then that's the over get the warmth. Most people have got the house. Then it's over them.
What do you find is the best way to cure the flu? Well, just think that you haven't got it, and better than that, boil onion, yes, and just leave it go cool, just cool for drinking, and drink it up, and that's it. And just don't be like
19th century. A group of communists in Russia, known as Bolsheviks, started a revolution. The end result was a communist takeover of Russia and the creation of a nation known as the Soviet Union. For many years, the Soviet Union was the only communist nation. However, following World War II, many other Eastern European nations followed Russia's lead and implemented a communist system. Those nations included Poland, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Romania. Throughout the 1960s, many Asian nations, such as China and North Korea, also adopted communism. At one point, what came